Hi there, I'm Heather Hansen, owner of Creative Sage Cottage, and I wanted to talk to you today about one of my favorite magical plant allies, the Rose of Jericho. So, if you're not familiar with the Rose of Jericho, I won't go into too much history about it because there's so much that I want to tell you about its magical uses. Um, but this is what it looks like when you receive it. And quite frankly, I think it's beautiful, but at first sight, it does resemble a tumbleweed a bit, kind of like something you might see blowing across a desert somewhere. But make no mistake, this is just how it starts. What it becomes is something you pretty much have to see to believe. Um, so the Rose of Jericho has about as lengthy and diverse a history as one plant could possibly have. But what we're going to focus on today, because of this kit that I've put together for you, is actually one of its nicknames called the resurrection plant, and the attributes that go along with this name. So what I love about this plant, one of the things I love about it is that I truly believe for magic of any kind to be effective, we have to start from a place of authentic inspiration, and we need to set unprecedented, unshakable intentions for what it is that we hope to manifest. And oftentimes, it's a little bit easier to do that when we have a visual aid. And that's where I think this magical plant is going to come into play. So, like I said, when you receive or look at Rose of Jericho at first glance, this is what you see. Just a gray, brown, little bits of green in there. Not much to behold, cluster of twigs and what appear to be little branches. But then, this is where the name resurrection comes from. You add a little bit of water to this plant and the very best of intentions. And within a couple of hours, not sure how well you can see this, I'm trying to be gentle, this is what your plant will become, or at least a version of it. So you can see it has unbelievable greenery. She's wide open, branches spread out. There are all sorts of amazing little lines and shapes and twigs and things going on in here. And this is really, after you submerge her in water, as you can see, she's in water right now. This is like just an hour and a half, 2 hours after that plant has been submerged. So yeah, she's quite magical. And a lot of people use these for a lot of different reasons, and they're used as in different contexts. What we're going to do today, and what I hope to accomplish with you as far as this kit goes, is I believe that each and every one of us has something in our lives that we need to take pause, take a step back, and perhaps decide that it's time to resurrect or revisit or bring back to life again. Maybe this is a dream that you had for yourself when you were younger and something happened and it kind of went by the wayside. Maybe your relationships have faltered a little bit and you need to breathe some new light back into them, or life back into them. Maybe it's a job that you had intended for yourself, and for whatever reason, you stopped looking for that job and you just kind of took the next best thing. There's a million different things that we could choose to bring back to life or resurrect in our lives. That's up to you. But I wanted this plant to be of service, and I wanted her to be able to help you in some of the ways that it's been able to help me. So rather than just send you one of the resurrection plants, I did a little something. I started on the new moon and I put a ton of these resurrection plants in water. I opened every single one of them up, and then I began sort of intuitively listening to what it was the plant wanted, and I put a crystal inside each one of them. And you can't see it right now, or maybe you can. This one I've allowed to close back up again, but there's a little magical crystal. It might be rose quartz, it might be moonstone, it might be green aventurine, pyrite, amethyst, you name it. Each one of the Roses of Jericho plants that I will have available in the kits in my Etsy shop have been blessed and charged with energy that has gone into a surprise crystal that I've put into each one of these plants. And the idea is, I don't believe in mistakes and I don't believe in coincidence. So perhaps maybe as we're sitting here right now, you can't come up with something that you believe needs to be resurrected in your own life. This plant is going to help you with that by delivering straight to your front door any number of one of these crystals that has been gently placed into it. So perhaps you'll decide that on the full moon, the next full moon, since we know that the full moon is there to kind of shine a light on things that we might not have wanted to look at, or things that are kind of lurking in the dark that maybe it's time to take a much closer look at. Perhaps you'll decide that's the evening that you're going to bring your plant back to life. And you will simply add water to the plant, and I'm going to show you all of that. And then once she begins to open, your crystal will be revealed, and there will also be within your kit a little card like this. And once you open that, it will tell you a bit about the crystal that you've received, and what its main properties are. And then it's up to you to kind of take some time and do a little thinking, marinate a little bit about what that crystal is telling you. And then between the full moon and the new moon, you just kind of let the crystal and the rose of intention work its magic. You become a co-creator with this plant, the energy of the plant, the intention of the crystal, and what it is that you would like to manifest for yourself within that time frame, or even begin to plant seeds on an emotional level, working with the plant and the crystal as an ally. And then as we get to the new moon, you simply remove the plant from the water, and perhaps this would be a great time for you to jot down a couple of intentions for yourself. Maybe things that have bubbled up to the surface between when you submerged the Rose of Jericho and opened her back up, aka brought her back to life again, and the new moon. Maybe there's things that you'd like to work on, or seeds that you would like to plant for yourself. You can write those on a piece of paper, tuck them inside the Rose of Jericho, and then as the water disappears and she goes dry, she will close back up on herself again. And anything that is in this plant will become a part of it. Now, what's amazing about this is part of the allure, and whether it's the Christian version of what you know about this plant or the Southern root worker folklore, these plants go dormant and come back to life as often as you want them to, sometimes handed down from generation to generation. In fact, some of these plants have been in families and they will only take them out at Christmas time, and they'll submerge them in water and resurrect them symbolically of the season, or they will do the same thing at Easter. And then once Easter has come and gone and they have served their symbolic purpose, the water is removed and they're allowed to go dormant again until the following year. So one of the most amazing things about this plant is that's pretty much the way nature intended it. These roll around in the desert until it begins to rain. And once it rains and they fill with water, they open back up again. They have seeds that they will drop. And then when the water stops, they close back up, and they don't have roots. They're a lot like an air plant in that regard, that they pretty much just kind of go where the wind blows them. And as they're tumbling across fields and deserts, they're dropping their seeds. And that's how this Rose of Jericho keeps going. Some of the things to think about with this plant, as far as your uses for it, that crystal will be charged with the intention that I've sort of given it when it left here. The time between when you receive the plant, when you decide to open it, and then when you close it up again, you can be absorbing that energy. And then when you're ready to remove your crystal from it, use the water from the plant to cleanse the crystal and then charge it with your own intention and your own energy. The water from this plant is believed to have as much magical energy as the plant itself. So in your kit, you're also going to receive an empty bottle that looks like this. This is where you can empty your water, and people will use this to do a floor cleaning, to kind of cleanse the area. People will put this around their door frames to invite positivity in and keep negativity out. Some people will wash their crystals with this. Some people will charge this on the full moon and make a Rose of Jericho moon water. And I mean, there's a myriad of different ways that you can use this. Just know that the water from the plant is just as important as the plant itself. So I hope that you enjoy this kit. This is something that I don't think there's any of us that couldn't afford to turn on a light in some area of our life and really take a good look at what's been dormant for too long, what's been missing, and what we'd like to breathe a little bit more life into. So this kit, your Rose of Jericho plant, the empty container, some sprigs of sage for you to do a little smudging, the crystal that's in the kit, and then the explanation card will all be available on my website and Etsy shop. And if you have any questions, I'm always available and just an email or a phone call away. I truly hope that you enjoy this and that this Rose of Jericho plant winds up being as enjoyable an experience for you going forward as it has been for me. So wishing you love and magic. Thank you so much for being here and enjoy the rest of your day.